I'm live. Hi, welcome. My name is Michele and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up here in New South Wales, Australia. So this is my first Tuesday night live. So wasn't quite sure what we're going to do tonight. So I played around with a few ideas. Wasn't really happy with my ideas. They weren't quite working out the way I wanted them to. So I've pulled something out that I haven't used for a long time. So let me just turn my camera down. Now, please jump on before we go much further. Jump on, say hi, let me know where you're from. It's always good to talk to people and see where everybody is from. And so then if you've got your name up there, I can comment back to you. So let's get started. So let me just pop this onto my desk view. And I don't know if any of you have seen, but I've got my dice. Haven't played with these for quite a while. This is generally what I will pull out if I'm lost for an idea or something like that. My mojo has gone or whatever. But tonight I just couldn't work out what I wanted to do because I've done quite a few different things over the last few days. So probably a little bit worn out. Hi, Anne. Welcome. Okay, so let's roll the dice and see what we're going to do tonight. Okay, so we're going to leave our ideas up to the universe to work it out for us. So I'm going to grab my first dice here and just give it a roll. Okay, we need to use some bling on this card. Grab my second dice. And it's going to be a card that's going to be for you, or almost like a friendship card, but yeah, that's the sentiment. Is going to be something like for you. We'll have to see what we've got. Oh, I'm going to throw this one again. It's come up a 3x3. They're just a tiny, weeny little card. Let's just do something a little bit better. Sometimes I reckon this particular dice must be loaded because it always comes up that, oh, a slimline card. Haven't done one of them for a long time. Okay, let's work out what colours we're going to use. Brights. Okay, we're going to do a slimline brights card and our last dice. And we're going to do some embossing on it. Now, that's going to be interesting, embossing on a slimline card. Now, most slimline cards are about 10 centimetres wide, finished by 21. So let's have a look. We've got to put some bling on it. So that's going to be quite simple. So that could be some sort of diamantes or some sort of embellishment like that. So that we'll leave for the end. We're going to have to put for a sentiment that's got something to do with for you, a slimline card. So that's going to all depend on what colours we're using. We're going to be using our brights and we're going to be doing embossing now. Embossing could be dry embossing. It could be embossing. Good evening. It just says Facebook user. I'm not quite sure who you are. I'm terribly sorry, but welcome. Embossing could be dry embossing. It could be embossing powder. Let's have a look and see what we come up with. So in the brights, now I've got a list here of telling me, because I've got all my colours cardstock now in rainbow colour rather than in family colour. Let's have a look. If we're going to be doing it in brights, we could use Poppy Parade, we could use Melon Mambo, we could use Flirty Flamingo, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Lemon Lime Twist. Well, that's a good one. Granny Apple Green, I like that one too. Coastal Cabana, haven't used that for a while. Afternoon, Azure Afternoon. What other colours come underneath that? Berry Burst. Okay, so some really nice, interesting colours there. Let's start off by just grabbing some stamp sets. Because we want something that's going to suit a slimline card. Now, a slimline card could be horizontal or tall. And let me go. Bear with me 1 second. Hi, Deb. How are you? I'm just going to have a look on my shelf over here for a stamp set that we can use with brights. What have we got? Okay, I think I might use that one. Do we have a sentiment for you? Let's have a look what else we've got sentiment-wise. For you on that one. Now, there is one other one that I am thinking of. Is there something on there we can use? Okay, there's a couple of ideas there. Thinking of doing something with the daisies. Now, in the brights, we have got, what have we got in the greens? We've got Granny Apple Green, we've got Lemon Lime Twist, we've got Daffodil Delight. So let's grab a sheet of that cardstock. Now this is just going to give me an idea of colour. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily the one I'm going to use. If you've got any ideas, let me know. And there's no reason why I couldn't use some designer series paper in this, but I don't think I'm going to have a think about that. Okay. Always use a bit of white. What else have we got in brights here? Berry Burst. Let's have a look. Where have I got that one? Bit of Berry Burst there. Let me just have a look at it's the designer series paper. None of these colours are really into those brights. Sort of more muted. I might leave that out. Let's see what we can come up with that using that. Okay. Now, I don't know what card base we're going to do as yet. I'm good, thanks, Deb. Okay. So let me just move these off. I've got to do some embossing. So I might do some dry embossing and use an embossing folder. And my favourites to go to are always the basics of 3D basics. And you've got a choice of 3 there. I might do something with those dots. Now, I know I've got more colours than that in there, but that's just giving me a bit of an inspiration colour-wise. I may even just use inks yet. Let's have a think. Okay. Let's pop that there. Now, we've got to do a slimline card. So... and I'm thinking, actually, we might do the slimline card in Berry Burst. Now, this is what happens when you've got to do, you roll the dice. You're thinking on the go. Not always one of my best things to do, but let's see how we go. So Berry Burst, and we're going to score that. So I've just cut that at 20 centimeters, and I'm going to score that at 10. So there's my, I'll need that again in a moment. There's my card base. Just fold that a little bit better. So it's going to be a nice bright card. So am I going to pop, and this is going to be interesting because my embossing folder is not that long. So do we not go for the embossing, but go for embossing powder? And I do have my white embossing powder here. Okay, let's just have a look at this stamp set. I know I'm talking to myself here, but that's always the most logical way to get logical answers. So what we could do, I might stamp these stamps, the outline stamp. So let's grab all these outline stamps. I was thinking of doing just having a look. Those stamps don't go with that particular die, but I do like that leaf, so we'll keep those. It does use the other dies. Whoops, just almost losing everything here. Hold on a sec. Okay, so let's grab my embossing buddy here. And I'm going to put lots and lots and lots of powder on there. We're going to stamp some multiples of this. So we need our Versamark so we can do some embossing. Let's do another one. I'm going to pop some, use the back of this, pop some powder on that, because I can hardly see the let's make sure we've got some good coverage there of powder. That's looking pretty good. Pop the lid on that, and I'm just going to heat emboss those. So let me just move some of these out of the road and plug in my heat gun. It's a bit noisy, I'm sorry, but we'll We want to heat these up until the matte powder turns a shiny white. That's one done. Just hit those there a little bit just to make sure those edges are all done. There's a few petals there not done. Okay, they're done. So let's now stamp up a few more so I can see those. Only got two there, but that's all right. We'll start with those two. Whoops. Almost lost a stamp. Flicked it off the table. So we're going to pop another one there. And another one there. Just seeing where I can, so I don't overlap them. I'm probably spacing these out quite a bit. So let's now just pop some powder underneath those ones. Looks pretty good. Oh, excuse me. Okay, let's heat these ones up. Just check, make sure they're all done. Okay, so they're done. Now we need to do a few of these. Oops, a little bit more powder on this one. Looking good. Now, let's heat those up in there, or I think that'll be all the flowers we're doing. We can easily die cut some leaves and that, petals to go in. These. Okay. can't get my heat gun there to hook on. Okay, so that's those done. So we have done, I have done 2 of that one, 3 of that one, and 3 of that one. And then we have some of these leaves here. We've got that leaf there. We might leave it for the moment because there are other bits and pieces we can die cut, and we might die cut a few of those. So let's just start by putting some of this away so we don't get powder everywhere, because knowing me, I'll knock it off the table. And let's do some colouring. So I'm just going to just give that a rough cut up there. Unplug that heat gun. Plug my phone back in so we don't lose everything. Okay, so let's colour these in. Now, we were looking at some of the colours as being, we've got, if I'm going to do this with the inks, I want some Daffodil Delight. That's a bright. I want some Granny Apple Green. I use my ruler to get my ink pads because they're a little bit too far away for me to reach. I've got short arms. Okay, so we've got Berry Burst, which is the colour we're going to do our card base in. Got some Daffodil Delight. And what I want to use is maybe just using, so this technique here is a resist method. So what I've done here, as you can see, I've stamped in Versamark and then used my embossing powder to emboss all these flowers. And now I just want to highlight them by just adding a little bit of colour with my blending brush. And what will happen is I just want to add this just a little bit around the edges. So let's see how we go. And the ink is going to resist on the embossing, where the embossing is. So I should be able to get a soft cloth in a minute and just wipe away some of that ink, and that where I've embossed is going to show up as a white. So I just want these to be quite soft because I do want to put some centers in there. Let's just get a paper towel here. Just give that a bit of a buff up, and you can see that area is starting to show. So I'm just a little bit hard to see because I've got a little bit of glare here, but anyway, we'll just keep working our way around. There's the big ones up here. I can always come back and add a bit more colour after I've die cut these, but this will just help me a little bit in seeing. Hi, Joan. Hi, Glenda. Okay, there's another big one there. So I take it you didn't realise I was going to be on live tonight, Glenda. Yes, I've decided to add an extra live a week. So the moment Tuesday night's going to be it. We'll see how we go. Something a little bit different, but I'll still be doing my Fridays. So if any of you watch me on a Friday, I'll still be there. You're just going to have double lot of me each week. One more to go. And just when I ink this up, I tap off a bit of the excess ink off my brush onto my scrap paper here that I'm working on top of, just so then I don't get sort of big puddles of ink on my work here. Okay, so let's just give all of these a bit of a wipe down just to remove any of that excess ink that sits on top of the embossing powder. This one here might not have had enough embossing powder on that little petal just there, but that's okay. Just it'll tuck in behind something. Okay, so now we can see what we've got there, and we can die cut all of those out. So let me grab my dies. And we need these open ones here. One, two, three. We'll just cut these up into smaller workable bits to send through my mini cut and emboss. Did you know you can buy these plates here, your main plates, on the exclusive, in the exclusive? So if you, my plate here, this one here, I don't know whether you can tell, but it's getting, because it's one of the thin plates, even though it's a plate one for the mini, it's slightly warping. And every now and then I have trouble getting these through my machine. So I don't know whether it's got to do with the warping of this plate or not, but you can buy replacements of these. And if you're looking for them on the online store, they're in the exclusives. So good thing to know that that's where they are if you're looking for them. So I'm hoping that that's going to fix up a couple of my little issues. Now I've got some tape here, I'm going to use just to hold my dies in place. So let's just move this die around just to get it in the right spot. Pop that one on there. Now, of course, you could also use washi tape, but I just find that washi tape sometimes will ruin my cardstock. So I do like using my Post-it note tape, and that's a Burrows one, that one. Oh, that's good. Well, I'm glad you joined us tonight, Glenda. Okay, so there's one. There's another one. So let's just die cut that one. Whoops. Just doesn't want to stay down, does it? There we go. I'll pop that one on there. Trying to work out which way this die sits. I think I've got it now. They're looking quite pretty. Might just pop that one through. Oh no, put that one there to go. Now this is where this is playing up a little bit because it doesn't want to go through. There we go. Got it going. Not many more to go. Just one more after this. And that's all the flowers cut. Okay, so that's all of those flowers. Now let's have a look at what. So granny apple green. I wonder if I've got some small pieces here. Yes, I do. Let's cut some leaves out of this. So the dies. Okay, where have I buried my dies? Just over here. We've got that one. Just cut a few of these little ferny pieces. Should have run this through a second time. Sometimes I find this die here doesn't always cut the best. This little fern one. I'm just thinking, I wonder if I should cut that in white. Cut a couple in this one, then I might do a couple in white too. Don't need those little bits. This is the boring bit, watching me do this. So how has your day been? Has everyone been having a good day? Has it been nice weather where you are? I think it's been quite nice here. Not that I get outside to see much during the week. I'm usually too busy sewing. Windy and rainy. You're in Queensland, aren't you, Glenda? Yeah, we've had a few frosts here in the Southern Highlands, but we haven't had rain. We were supposed to have rain, I think, last Sunday, but thankfully it didn't rain because my husband and I went for a drive down to Kangaroo Valley and had lunch down there. It was beautiful. It's great in Brisbane. Oh, what am I sewing? I do alterations, so I have customers. So besides doing cards, I have customers that come and want alterations done. So I'm forever taking up hems and things like that. Rather be making cards all the time. So yeah, when I'm busy, it's a quiet week this week, which has been it's been good because usually I could be seeing 3 to 4 people a day, Monday to Thursday. But because it's the end of the financial year, things get a little bit quiet, which is less money for me because what I earn is what I pay for my crafting. But it's also nice just to have a little bit of a break. Now, someone else is saying good evening, but I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. So let me know. You lived in Kangaroo Valley for a while. Oh, okay. So how did you find living in Kangaroo Valley? We go there just for the day and to have lunch. And I said to my husband the other day, I said, we could move here, but then because I mean it's a beautiful spot and we love it. But then with his business, because he does goes around and repairs people's houses and so forth, there's no hardware store in Kangaroo Valley. So if he had to go to the Bunnings or something like that, he'd be travelling a long way. I don't think there's even a real supermarket there. There's probably somewhere there you go and get your basics, but that's about it. But it is beautiful at Kangaroo Valley. We love it. And then we drove on down to Kiama and then found a nice spot sort of down near the wharves at Kiama and sat there in the car and enjoyed the sunshine there and watching the waves. But we often think we'd love to move somewhere down the south coast. Mind you, we do love it where we are here, but it just gets very cold. You were living at the caravan park. Your daughter was only a baby and she was sick all the time as it was in winter. Yeah, it can be very cold. It's probably slightly warmer in Kangaroo Valley than what it is here. Now that's it there. It's just there. Sorry, I thought I'd lost my plate. It was just underneath my cardstock. Yeah, it can get colder where we are here because we're sort of higher up the mountain, and Kangaroo Valley is sort of a little bit more towards the coast, so you get, you're getting that lovely coastal weather. Yeah, it can get very, very cold. Whoops. Let me just go back to me again, back to the solo on there again. Don't know what happened there. But that would have been hard, Glenda, living in a caravan park with a baby. I mean, I've done enough holidays and stayed in caravan parks. It's not always easy because they're not, your cabins and things aren't always that big. And depending on how little your baby is, it's sort of a bit hard if they're really tiny and sleeping and you're sort of just sitting there waiting for them because they're pretty much in the same room, aren't you? Okay. Let's see how we go. I'm just wondering now whether I do need to do some white ones. I've got a lot of green ones there. I think they might do. We'll make them do. Now, What else did I want to do? Do I want to do some of these little leaves? Just want to cut a few of those, I think, but I might. We might just do a few in some basic white. See how I can go cutting these out, because I just want to cut. I'd have to cut smaller pieces. So all I'm doing here is I just want to pop a piece underneath like that, just to cut that little bit there. I need to do those couple of those a few times, I think. And again, I've put my plate down, and wherever I put it, maybe a couple of more of those. Yeah. So which caravan parks? There's 2 caravan parks in Kangaroo Valley. There's one that's actually right on the river. That's been there for years. And then there's another one at the other end of town, which is probably the Kiama end of town. My mini cut and emboss machine gets a real good workout. The one out of town on the way to Narrow. Okay, so down the other end. So just on the outskirts of town. I'm assuming that that's the one because it's the only, because there's only 2. But then we are talking a while back, so I mean, assuming there's been no others. Can we do one more? We might just wait and see because I really want to get this card on the go. So let's just pop that over here somewhere. Bits and pieces all over the place. Okay then. Now, there's our card. Question is, do I do a smaller piece in that or in the white? So then we'd have flowers on the white or the flowers on that. I think maybe Let's just cut this down and have a look. Still got to do some yellow in there, I think. So this piece here is just under 10. I want to cut this at 9.5. And we're going to cut it 9.5 by 20.5. Could have worked that out without opening that big arm. That's going white, that on that. I wonder if we might put... Gee, I wish I could emboss that. But the circles are definitely not going to work, because I would have to put it through twice. But there is something I haven't used for quite a while. Let me see if I can find it. It's one of the narrow embossing folders. This one here. This is the stripes and splatters. So we could use the splatters. And I'm going to cut this a bit smaller because I'm going to do so this one here, and if I cut that down to 9, because this is not quite, see how this goes. And we cut off another 0.5 centimetre. Actually, I might cut it down to 8.5. And then I'm going to take a centre off here. And I'm going to take some white because I can. And I'm going to cut this at, so that one there is now 8.5. So I'm going to cut this at 9. And 21. So I want to cut this down. Let's just take 1.5 off that. Hope I'm not taking too much off. I did take too much off. Blow. Okay, let's see if I've got another. Okay, I'll have to come back. I'll have to get another piece of white. Okay, hold on one sec. Are you going to be on now every Tuesday night? Every Tuesday night at 7:30 New South Wales time. So I'll do that, and I'll also do Fridays as well. It may be that this night is always going to be like a dice throw night. It may be that I do a few techniques. So we're going to cut this one here at 9. And I took 1.5 off, and I think I need to only take 1 off. Hopefully I've got that right. Yep, that's beautiful. I think if I put the green underneath there, it'd be too bright. Oh, let me scoop my chair back in underneath the table. Won't be a sec. Okay, so I want to put a bit of texture on that. Now that we've got that right. So we've got two lots of different types of embossing on this now. So Glenda, you probably missed it. I threw my dice and I've got these dice here. And we've come up, we're going to put some bling on this card. It's going to be a card for you. It's got to be a slimline card. We've got to use brights and we're doing embossing. So I've got two types of embossing on this card now. Well, we'll have in a moment. Okay, still need the one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take that all the way through to the top. So I've now cut this piece the same width as my cardstock. And I'll pop that underneath there, unless this is not going to go through. We're going to have to get the big machine out. Yeah, it's just not wanting to play with me. Let me just pop one of these plates in. Sometimes I find I have to play around with plates a little bit because I think I'll help if I put that out. Just not wanting to grab. Okay, it's playing up. I have given my mini cut and emboss a major workout since it first came out. I use it probably 99% of the time. And not necessarily my big one. So I think over the years the rollers in that one have just dropped a little bit. And so it makes it a little bit harder to get through. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of a stitch. Now, I don't want to put this all the way through. We're just to there. So I'm only popping it halfway through. But I'm just going to, before pull this out, I'm going to just double check. Yeah, I think I can do that again. So I just wanted a little bit of texture on this particular piece of cardstock. Sometimes it's just nice having a bit of texture there. So I'm just taking that. I'm not worrying about the two sides of the embossing folder not being in line, because we are going to cover a lot of it in the flowers. Oh, got a stitch. Won't go away. So that's come up really well. So let's mount that onto there. Sorry, I've got quite a stitch happening at the moment in my rib cage. Probably my body saying to me, you don't usually bend that much. Okay then. So that's going to go to there like that. Just got to move that over a little bit. Yep, now I'm happy with that. Give that a really good rub. Make sure that glue is spread nice and even. Now, the centers of these. There is a little stamp that we could use, and I've got my Daffodil Delight here, which is another bright. We need a block. We've got all these. Actually, we will need this a smaller one as well, so we'll probably need that smaller one too. So let's grab that out. Need another block for that one. Now we could have embossed this. Now I'm not quite sure. Yep, I think that'll be fine. We're just going to pop those in the centers. Now I am going to just pop another one. We'll stamp that a couple of times in there because I think it sort of needs something a little bit bigger than what the area there just seems to be a bit bigger, so we need this little one here on the end. There we go. Now let's have a look. We've still yet to work out our sentiment. Now, sentiment needs to be for you, and what I thought I could use is this Sentimental Park has just for you. So, and I'm wondering if, I'm sure I pulled this out earlier. Stylish Shapes. We might use the square. So we need the for you and for the U and the other one, just for. that little one right at the very top. Just going to line this up on my grid paper, but I might have to go to the slightly bigger square. So that might be too big. Okay, and see how we go. No, I should be using a foam mat underneath this, but I just sometimes find with lettering you can get away with not having the foam mats. I think I will do the small one. So we'll just see if we can get this try our little one again. Try cut this. Yep, that's going through. So I think we want to pop him up onto dimensionals. And I think the way we're going to go with this, and I'm going to pop, actually, use our card base. Pop our card base on there next. Some baker's twine. Tie a big bow. Okay, so I'm going to pop that there for the moment. Got lots of these, so let's just have a look. So it's going to sit underneath there like that. May use only one of these, and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's start just filling some of this in. Okay, I'm going to start by putting that on dimensionals to start with, because I like to then slip everything in underneath. So I always like to put my dimensionals in the center. Put that one there. I'm going to pop that one also onto dimensionals. And again, I'm just popping them into the center. I can always slip another dimensional underneath if I find I need one. Can go there. Another one. There like that. Okay, so that one can go there. A little bit of a push down there, because that's going to hold all of that there together. Using up all these little bits on the end around the sides of my dimensionals. That little bit just coming out from underneath that. Okay, that one can go in there. Sometimes I think having plenty of white just quietens down the heavier colours, like the brighter colours, like the berry burst and the granny apple green. Thank you, Glenda. Hi. You love this set? Yeah, it looks beautiful with berry burst. I'm actually quite pleased. I don't play with berry burst very often. Let me just see where we're going to add some more flowers. Might pop that little one in underneath there. Yep, that can go in there before that. Might just lift that up for a sec. Put that in there. Go underneath. Now I did tie a big bow here. I'm not quite sure. Whoops. Some more of these little ones here need to go into, I think, first. I think that needs to have another one underneath there just to marry that up. Looks a bit funny with just one sitting there. Might just grab this bit of green out. I've got one more of these because I only cut 3. Oops. They're very fine and very bendable. Oops. Yep, underneath there. Keeping that rule of 3. Now I've got 4 flowers. Okay, now do we need this bow or don't we need this bow? At the moment I'm thinking we may not need it. I think we might leave it. But I will add some black with our bling. Still got bits and pieces here left over just in case for another project. Always never know where to put these things. Don't want them in line. Okay, I think that's it. I don't think, even though it's sort of like it's all on this side, it's got enough on it that, and you've got the texture and everything there. I think it still looks quite complete. I don't think I need any more green or anything on there. I think sometimes you probably could add another piece if you wanted to, coming out, just to bring your eye further out that way. But I'm just sort of thinking, if I do, then I think that it's just going to be like another flower. Like if there was a real small little flower, it would look okay. But I actually think that that's quite good. I'm quite happy with that. So there's my card for tonight. So what have we got? We've got our bling, even though it's black and it's not shiny. We've got our For You, which is our Just For You. We've made a slimline card. I've used the brights. And we've done 2 types of embossing. We've done dry embossing with embossing of our layer here, and also with the embossing with the white embossing powder. So we've covered a few different things there on that card. So I hope you've enjoyed that tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. As I said before, I will be on now every Tuesday night at 7:30, as well as Fridays at 1 o'clock. So if you can't make one, you can make the other. And also too, I will have this on my blog hopefully in the next couple of days. Just got a little bit of sewing to do in the next few days. So once I can get that done, I can get this up on my blog. I will do an insert for my card. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It's probably just going to be a plain white insert. I may even throw a couple of these little flowers on there and some of the greenery I have left, which would be quite good. If for an envelope for this, you probably would have to make your own. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Yeah, pull out your dies. Pull out the what is it? The daisy. Let me have a look. It's called Cheerful Daisies, and the dies. They're a lot of fun. I didn't think I was actually going to like this suite as much as I do, but I've had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, it's a good one. Have a lovely day or lovely evening, what's left of it. And we'll catch up with you either on Friday or next Tuesday. So thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for commenting and chatting with me as we worked along doing this, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.